Well, all right, everybody. I think I've decided, since I was doing some cleaning in here and I saw how much I had left, I think I'm going to work on this MS661 next. I think I'm just missing a couple little pieces, but I've got most of it here. I've never owned one, so I'm probably not going to look at selling this one for a little bit. Kind of like that 670. I'm going to run it for a bit and see what I think about it. But what we've got here is a 661 that a fellow dropped a pretty good sized tree on, and we're going to see. I didn't pay very much for it. I may need to look for like a side cover and a few other things, but I've got enough to get started on a rebuild. I found tank housing with a full wrap handle. It's not in perfect condition. I got a piston, rings, wrist pin bearing, gaskets, seals, pretty much everything, intake boot, impulse line. I'm going to see how much of this right here is actually salvageable. I think the cylinder looks okay, even though it's got a handful of fins busted off. Pretty much from what I have seen, the entire flywheel side crankcase half is actually destroyed. And I believe that the starter cover, the more I'm glancing at it, the more I'm thinking it might be destroyed as well. But we'll see how it goes. I don't have very much money sank into this thing at all. I'm going to try and keep it as OEM as possible, like I do most of those saws. I really try not to use aftermarket parts unless it's kind of unavoidable. I don't think I need to replace this just yet. It seems to be pretty good as long as I can put a screw back on it. It's got some cracks in it. I might epoxy it back. Like I said, I'm going to make this one that I can just kind of run for a bit and see what I think of a 661. I will make sure it doesn't have any air leaks, vacuum leaks. I am inclined to even go so far, since I might have a 500i coming up eventually that I'm going to do a rebuild on as well. I might. Basically right down here, right where my hand is, they have an AV mount right there, just like the 661. That section of the crankcase is broken off. That might be one of the only things wrong with it, so I'm going to do potentially the same as this, only that saw's in better shape. Piston rings, bearings, seals, gasket. Just give it a freshen up. I'm inclined to get on West Coast Saws website and get the new air filter that they've come up with and put that on there as well. I'm not thinking of, I might, but I'm not thinking of doing like the clutch covers. But for sure the air filters, because those filters are supposed to be really good, and especially after sinking a little bit of money in to try and freshen the saw up, I don't think that would be a bad choice. This is the crankcase half that I'm going to be putting on this saw right here. You can see there might be some stuff missing right here. Like pretty much, yeah, pretty much all the way down to right here is gone. Right here. That's all busted off. So I think this should actually be a pretty quick rebuild. Like I said, there's a couple things I'm going to have to get, like a starter cover. I'm going to try this cylinder, see what kind of condition it's in. I might be able to hone it. I wish that it wasn't missing some fins, but it is missing some fins. The rest of the fins seem to be in pretty good shape. I'm going to have to scrounge up a muffler and probably some plastics as well. Top cowling, air filter cover, a few little things like that. But overall, I'll hit you guys back up once I have something interesting to show.